Came a phase after Srila Prabhupada left when I was quite withdrawn, because all of a sudden my world became completely empty, while my days were completely filled with so many demanding activities. Then when Srila Prabhupada left the planet, I had practically nothing to do. And that was a very difficult phase. And then came a stage when I was traveling quite extensively. And then came another phase when I got involved in the management of ISKCON. In the mid-80s, ISKCON went through a major crisis, and at that time, in order to hold this movement together, there was a need for a lot of involvement. It was very demanding, and at that time I got involved in the management, and all I had is problems after problems, anxieties after anxieties, crisis after crisis. It was just an endeavor to try to hold things together. Like Madhavendra Puri was speaking about those early days. Actually, Madhavendra Puri is from France, and I got involved in France when we practically lost everything in France. The last thing that we had was our property in New Mayapur, and that was leaned against a bank against a loan of $1.5 million, which with interest amounted to more than $2 million. To save that place, which was the only thing left in France, that we needed $2 million. And those days, I didn't have practically any resources. I didn't have any manpower. I was just a new in the GBC body. And it was a big struggle, and eventually we had been able to save New Mayapur, and Madhavendra Puri actually played a very important role in that. The last bit, in order to save the thing, we needed $250,000, and that we needed within 7 days' time. And somehow I arranged it. I just managed to borrow that money from some of our well-wishers in London. But we had to pay that money back with interest. And Madhavendra Puri and other devotees in France then came forward. They helped me to raise that money and pay it back. So those were the days of struggle, intense struggle. And my main service was being affected. My main service that Prabhupada gave me, actually during my first meeting with Srila Prabhupada, he gave me the service to translate his books into Bengali. But ever since I became involved in the GBC, ever since I got involved in the management, my translation stopped. And the most important work of Srila Prabhupada was yet to be translated, that Srimad Bhagavatam. All the other books had been translated. Only Srimad Bhagavatam was left. And I didn't have any time to translate. And as a result of that, no matter how much I did, at the end of the day, when I would go to bed, I would feel as if I had done nothing throughout the day because I didn't translate. Then finally, in 1993, I decided that I'm going to complete the translation of Srimad Bhagavatam, and I made a deadline. During Prabhupada's centennial, in 1996, I would complete Srimad Bhagavatam and offer it to Srila Prabhupada. When I spoke about it to others, many of them said it's impossible. In 3 years' time, we are going to translate 30 volumes of Srimad Bhagavatam. Forget it. But by Krishna's mercy, I had been able to do that. And not only it was translated, they were printed, and on the day of Srila Prabhupada's 100th anniversary, I offered the completed Bhagavatam set to Srila Prabhupada. Those days was another phase when, although I was involved in management, but I was withdrawn, completely withdrawn. I told them in my zones that, look, I'll come, but I'll not get involved in management, at least in the morning time. And only after 3 o'clock, I will get involved in whatever, if at all you need my input. And I used to get up at 2 o'clock, and the first thing I would do is just start to translate. And I would translate till, sometimes I would translate till 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning. And then I would take breakfast, chant my rounds, and everything else would come after. And there were another very beautiful phase that I went through. I was completely isolated from everything. I was leading a kind of secluded life. Although I was traveling, I would go to different, mainly in my zones. But then again, my zone at that time extended over 4 continents. India, in Asia, Europe, America, and Africa. I was involved in South Africa, I was involved in New York, I was involved in France, Belgium, Holland, Ireland, and India. But although I was involved, but I was withdrawn, all I would do is just, wherever I went, I would just translate. But then after, when it seemed that the translation would be completed, translation of Srimad Bhagavatam I would be able to complete it in time, then I decided to offer something for his 100th anniversary centennial. And I decided to make this television series on Srila Prabhupada's life, Abhay Charan. And that took me to another phase, a very, very intense phase. When I embarked on this project, I thought that I would just fund it and I would guide it and make it happen. Because I hired people, professionals or semi-professionals. Most of them were actually professionals. The team was professional. But then I faced 2 problems. It was costing too much money, mainly because too much money was being wasted. And another thing is that these professionals, especially the directors, cannot properly portray Srila Prabhupada. Therefore, I started to get more and more involved, and eventually I ended up not only producing the project, but also I started to direct the project. And anyway, that was another phase, and that went on from 1996 1996 to 2003. And 2003, actually 2004. But fortunately I had been able to complete the project. And then after I completed that project, Krishna brought me here in Ujjain. And I am foreseeing that this is going to be another phase that I am embarking on. And nice thing about this phase is that I will be stationed at one place. I'm going to have a base, and I'm going to be based here. Previously, I was just a wandering mendicant, but now, and I appreciate this involvement because I can see that there are needs for us, the leaders of ISKCON, to get involved in projects, and probably we won't be able to stop traveling altogether as long as the facilities are there. Then again, who knows for how long we'll be able to travel internationally. Like for how long there will be petrol, for how long there will be aeroplanes, for how long there will be... It may all stop in just a few days' time. Anyway, I mean, that is, I don't want to portray a bleak scenario, but it's nice to have a project where we can commit ourselves and be responsible about the development of that project. And so now here I am in Ujjain, things are developing, and we have many plans for development. And today only someone was telling me that, well, then after some time again you will embark on some other project when this one is complete. But I said, no, this project will take me a long time. Maybe it's a lifelong involvement, because here we didn't come just to build a temple. We came here to do many things. Anyway, I don't want to forecast about things, but at least that is what our plans are. I don't want to talk about them, but I very sincerely want that we can do what we want to do, what we came here to do. When the Madhya Pradesh government wanted to offer us 300 acres of land, we naturally had to think in a big way, because we are not going to come here and take 300 acres of land just to do some farming. When we embarked on a project consisting of 300 acres of land, there has to be many aspects of the project, and why not? It is through these major projects that a movement is going to grow. Otherwise, how Krishna consciousness movement is going to spread all over the world in every town and village? We have to do many things, involve our international and bring in the international input, and the output must also spread all over the world. And why not? As I was saying, like Krishna, our line is of Yukta Vairagya. It's not false renunciation, but it is an attitude to conquer the world for Krishna with a mood of detachment. That is the meaning of Yukta Vairagya. Yes, we want to conquer the world, but not for our sake. We want to conquer the world to offer it back to the rightful owner of this world. Everything belongs to Krishna and everything must be offered back to Krishna. And if we sincerely endeavor, yes, Krishna will help, Krishna will empower. And this International Society for Krishna Consciousness has been designed by Srila Prabhupada to achieve that. Krishna Consciousness movement is not going to spread all over the world in every town and village if we just, or rather in a positive note I will say, if we don't think in a big way. We have to think big, then only we can achieve something big. So I feel very fortunate that Krishna brought us here. It's a very special place, Ujjain. It is not only a holy place, but it is a place of Krishna's pastimes. And on top of everything, the mood of this place is so wonderful. I must admit that I have fallen in love with this place. And now let us see what we can do. So whatever we try to do is an expression of our glorification of Srila Prabhupada. The real glorification of Srila Prabhupada will take place through our sincere endeavor to spread Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada himself showed that spirit. At the age of 70, he left Vrindavan and went to America in total uncertainty. He knew he had to undergo many, many difficulties. But Srila Prabhupada went to preach. And we are Srila Prabhupada's successors. So we must maintain that spirit of Srila Prabhupada. Preach Krishna consciousness, spread it all over the world. At least try our best to spread this movement all over the world. And it must begin from where we are. So, at least on my part, I want that to be my offering to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pataka. What's the next? Kicker.
From England, London.
I was asking, okay, let me introduce. This is Janava Devi Dasi, and that's Sudevi Dasi. Sudevi Dasi and Janava made this cake. They are from London, and you can see that they are very expert. So before cutting the cake, I wanted to make sure what is edible and what was not. So there are some figures, and there is a harmonium. There is a tabla and baya. Even there's a dog. So they just, this cake, by the way, this cake actually shows that there is a tree in a green field, and there is a Western gentleman standing there, and Srila Prabhupada is sitting under the tree. Which scene this cake depicts? Wonderful. Tompkins Square Park, the place where Srila Prabhupada in New York, where Srila Prabhupada used to go and chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and people became attracted. And that's how Srila Prabhupada started this movement, all alone in New York City. Thank you very much, Janava and Sudevi, for making this beautiful cake. Actually, I don't feel like cutting it. Should I cut it?
Maharaj, there's one good reason why you can. You can offer it to Prabhupada right there.
It has already been offered. Okay.
Have the Hare Krishna Mahamantra.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj Ki! His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki! Gaura Brahmande! Gaura Brahmande!
Hare Krishna. I've been asked to do a little kirtan for a few minutes. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Recording.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Krishna Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare
विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमान अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। ISKCON founder Acharya His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमान भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। श्री श्री राधा मदन मोहन की जय। श्री श्री गौर निताई की जय। माई की जय। जमुना माई की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। तुलसी महारानी की जय। हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय।